Hello, you guys. Happy Thursday. We have a lot to talk about with pop culture news, a lot to roast, a lot to recap. So grab a beverage. Hopefully, you're wearing something very comfy. Please smash that like and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture, Joleen Lunzer here for another episode of No Offense, All Offense, where we talk about trending topics, pop culture news, our favorite reality shows, things we love to hate, things we hate to love. We take a comedic look, we roast it, we recap it, we have some fun with it. Remember, I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion as me. You're welcome to sound off in our live chat if you're watching live, hello, or our comment section if you're on the replay crew, hello, replay crew. And we can just respectfully agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
It's just my opinion. Now, everything I'm telling you today is true, except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only, so don't sue me.
Allegedly.
If it's your first time here, just know that I am excellent, according to quite a few people.
I heard actually mixed reviews on Joleen.
Oh, Joleen was excellent. What are they saying?
Jolene's excellent. What are they saying? Thank you, Lala. I appreciate that. I wish the feeling was mutual. All right. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. You guys smash that like on your way in. It lets people know on YouTube, the algorithm, that we are here. We're having some fun over on the Lean team, so they can come join us. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And then you know the drill. If you want to support the channel further, you're welcome to send a super chat while we're live. Producer Prince in training is here. You're welcome to send a super chat after the video post. Thank you to those of you who have done that, or hit me up on the Venmo PayPal.
I heard actually mixed reviews on Joleen.
Prince wanted you guys to know that I'm excellent one more time, but I don't want to be conceited, Prince. So producer Prince sometimes hits buttons. But thank you to those of you who have hit me up on the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or have joined my membership here on YouTube or on Patreon. Also, if you can, in lieu of those things, I have links in the description to help the wildfire relief efforts here in California. There are many ways in which you can help. So please take a look at the links in the description of this video. Hello, Prince. And help them if you can. So that is all right. Producer Prince is reporting for duty, right? He's stealing everybody's heart. He's just the cutest. No shade to Dave and Buffy who are here, who are also the cutest. But Prince is our little producer in training, and he's just laying on the desk. And so from time to time, you'll see his tail. And that is just part of the, appeal of this channel. Okay. The majestic Prince tail. Do you hear that, Prince? They say you have a majestic tail. Yes, you do. You have a majestic face, too. Oh, he's so beautiful. So hopefully you guys are all doing a wonderful today. Yeah, Dave Dog loves to get in Zoom meetings. Yeah, Dave Dog is always here. He loves to escape. You'll see him in the background escaping, I'm sure, relatively soon. But he did just eat, so he probably needs a nap. Okay. Oh, Prince just created a marker. I didn't even know you could do that at 3:30. Prince, did you just figure something out? What did your paw press on? I would love to do that, because then I could create markers as I go, so it'll be easier for me to do my timestamps. I'm going to have to Google how he did that in StreamYard. Prince, you're getting promoted very quickly. Okay, sir? That was pretty cool. Yeah, we definitely need new emotes. We need producer Prince in training and Cordelia in training. All right, you guys. So let's talk about some things that are happening today. News that is trending. I think everybody is talking about Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams called in to the Breakfast Club, talked to Charlemagne the God, did an interview, and then also called in to Don Lemon. And I just got done listening to the Don Lemon interview. She was on for about 15 minutes with Don and her niece, Alex. And it appears Wendy is unhappy. We have wondered for years what's going on with Wendy Williams. She had like kind of that docu-series on Lifetime. We've been told that Wendy has dementia. I believe they're saying she has the same kind as Bruce Willis. And Wendy is saying that she is trapped in a prison. She's insisting that she's not cognitively impaired and that this guardianship she's under has her trapped in a luxury prison, which sounds like a assisted living place in New York, where she basically is in her room all day, where she lays in bed and isn't allowed computer, laptop, iPad, isn't allowed really full access to her phone. She has a phone where she can call out, but people can't call her. So it's got a lot of people now pushing for, similar to the Britney Spears movement, a free Wendy movement. What is really going on? Aphasia. Yes. I don't know how it's spelled either, Pamela, but that's what they're saying. And so Wendy, she called into the Breakfast Club, talked to Charlemagne first, and she rebuffed the claim that she is mentally incapacitated. And so all the news outlets have picked up on this, because now that, she's doing these interviews and her niece Alex is helping her, and her niece Alex is also her goddaughter, and she is a journalist in Florida. So she's on like a sorry, you guys, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. She is a journalist at one of the local affiliates down there. And she's very close to her aunt. And so she's got Alex kind of helping her with this, as much information as they can give away, since she's been under this guardianship, according to her, for 3 years. So according to NBC News here, former talk show host Wendy Williams told the Breakfast Club radio show Thursday morning that she's not cognitively impaired, as her guardian has alleged, saying, though, through tears, that she's being kept in a luxury prison with only limited contact to her family. Williams, who retired from the public eye in 2022, called in to the show to dispute reports about her mental capacity. "I'm not cognitively impaired," Williams said on the morning show, "but I feel like I am in a prison." At one point, breaking down during the interview, Williams painted a bleak picture of her everyday life. "I'm in this place where the people are in their 90s and 80s and their 70s. I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner right here on my bed. I watch TV. I listen to radio. I look out the window. I talk on the phone," she said. One of Williams' nieces, like I was talking about, Florida news anchor and reporter Alex Finney, joined her on Charlemagne's show, and then also joined her on with Don Lemon. And she was agreeing with her aunt, saying that the New York site where her aunt is staying is, in fact, a luxury prison, according to her. She's there every day, all hours of the day, every week, every month. Alex said she went to New York to visit her aunt in October, and the level of security and the level of questions that were in terms of, who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose? I mean, it was absolutely horrible, she said. Breakfast Club host Lauren LaRosa matched Finney's description of Williams' living conditions. Both have visited Wendy Williams and described her living space as a small apartment where she spends most of her time alone and where outside visitors cannot enter without permission from her guardian. NBC News has reached out to Williams' guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, for comment on Williams' claims on the radio show. Now, I don't know who this Sabrina Morrissey is, but this all is feeling a little sketch. All right. Williams, we know, retired in 2022. In February 2024, her team said she was diagnosed the previous year with primary progressive aphasia, a nervous system syndrome that affects the ability to communicate, and frontotemporal dementia, which affects the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain and is usually associated with behavioral and personality changes, according to the Mayo Clinic. Williams had also been open with her TV audience in the past about her struggles. We know that, with addiction and Graves' disease and autoimmune disorder. Morrissey stated in November in a court filing in New York that Williams was cognitively impaired and permanently, she said, permanently incapacitated. The filing was part of a lawsuit Morrissey filed against A&E television networks, Lifetime Entertainment Services, and others in connection with the release of the docuseries Where is Wendy Williams in February. Morrissey had sued and tried to prevent the docuseries release, citing exploitation. A&E and Lifetime countersued in November, alleging Morrissey had realized the series included criticism of her guardianship. Variety reported. A&E had previously told NBC News it looked forward to unsealing documents in Morrissey's suit as they tell a different story. The docuseries filmmakers previously told Today.com in February they were not aware of Williams' diagnosis during production, though they said some days Wendy was on and very Wendy, and others she wasn't. The case and the countersuit are ongoing in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. An attorney for Morrissey did not immediately respond to NBC News when they requested a comment. Radio host Charlamagne the God told Williams on Thursday on the radio show when she called in today, they said you're cognitively impaired. You're incapacitated. Williams replied, "Do I seem that way?" To which on the show everyone on the show gave a resounding no. You do not sound permanently incapacitated and cognitively impaired. Williams replied, Williams said the guardianship system is broken. Williams said she wants to be with her son in Miami, her son Kevin, and became emotional when she discussed how she wants to visit Florida for her father's 94th birthday next month. She says, I don't know whether I'm allowed to fly to Miami to say happy birthday to my dad. I'm exhausted thinking about what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? At 94, the day after, that is not promised. Finney, her niece, asked that the public keep talking about Williams and her well-being. There's the hashtag #FreeWendy. There's also a change.org petition as well, just making as much noise as possible, GoFundMe, whatever we have to make sure that my aunt is in a place where she is living her life in dignity, Finney said. My aunt sounds great. I've seen her in a very limited capacity, but I've seen her. We're talking to her. This does not match an incapacitated person. Now, listening to the interview, you can definitely tell that Wendy, in the interviews, she's agitated. She is a little paranoid. She feels as though she can't share as much as she'd like because she's afraid that through this guardianship, they'll take away certain privileges from her, or even the possibility of seeing her dad for his 94th birthday, which seems to be her main priority right now, that and getting to Miami to be with her family. It sounds like she wants to live in Miami with her family, and I don't understand why that is not a opportunity, why she isn't allowed to do that. Since we've seen, Bruce Willis with, going through, I believe the same, if not a similar form of dementia, he is able to, we always see him with his family. Why is it different for Wendy? How did this guardianship get locked down for 3 years? And hopefully this information coming out will make people take a look at this and see, is this really the best for this person? Because Wendy is a, very successful woman and should live out her days, how she sees fit. Now, granted, it is difficult if, you're dealing with someone who is having some cognitive impairities, if that's a word, someone who might be going through dementia. But I still think if her sister, or brother, or her niece, her family is involved and they want to see her not tied down by this guardianship, then why is she? I mean, who decided on this guardianship? I don't even remember at this point. I just remember there's so many stories that were coming out about her finances being locked down. We'd see her in, out and about, and things didn't seem right. So through both of these interviews, the question has come up to the audience, like, do you think this woman appears in a permanent cognitive decline? And for the most part, I mean, she was pretty sharp. Again, did she seem upset? Did she seem paranoid? Yeah. But given the situation she's in, and if she has been by herself in this facility, this assisted living, and not able to fully, communicate with the world, that could have affected her, quite a bit socially, and her being paranoid makes a lot of sense. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here, you guys. Trixie says, it's taken me 2 years to get him the help he needs. They can cover it well. So Trixie's giving a situation here. Fun with Larissa says, wow, it's weird that she's being kept away from her family. I thought her leaving the public eye was weird. Yes, I know her family has said they have been in contact with her, and she was in Miami with them. I don't know how recent it was, but it appears that they want to be in more contact with her, according to her niece, and they want her to have more of a say. And they're really questioning this whole guardianship, conservatorship. Silly Goose says conservatorships are so 1950s hysterical wife. It does seem that way. And it seems like we mostly see women and women with money in these types of situations. And what we've seen with Britney Spears and could see with Wendy Williams is it tends to be less about the person's health and more about the control of that person who has been treated as a product. Now, from what I saw with Wendy's show and her marriage and all that, it seemed like Big Kevin was quite a problem and was quite in control of this very powerful woman and her finances, career decisions. And you hate to see someone, similar to what we saw with like Britney's dad and family, get, have too much control of this successful woman. Yes, Tracy says she's lonely. She did. Don Lemon did say during the pandemic, Wendy reached out to him, and he actually had her at his house with his then fiance, who is his now husband, because she said she was lonely. And so they hosted her there, and she opened up kind of with some of the things that ended up being on her docuseries. Opened up to him about her loneliness and how she felt pressured to go to that like sober living place. They made her, she kind of indicated that they made her stay there, and maybe even it was Big Kevin that made her stay there while she was still on the air. Yeah, Graphics says, I feel so bad for Wendy. I do too. Sarah Lynch says, and also they have moments where they come back as themselves, but it only lasts a short time. Some people have talked about that as well. Like, could this just be with Wendy's condition? Could this just be these moments of clarity that you see in dementia? But a lot of people have then argued that they normally don't last this long. And Wendy, these moments of clarity she's having seem to be lasting through multiple interviews and days, and that isn't necessarily the norm for someone in her condition. When Don Lemon asked her about her medication and things like that, she wasn't too, keen to answer that. But I think her niece and her, they were just saying they're afraid of what exactly they can say given the legalities of the guardianship. And I know the family, mainly her niece, her goddaughter, who seems to be like a daughter to her, Alex, it seems like she does not want anything to happen where then someone can say that she cannot see her auntie anymore. Don Lemon hosted her at his house. And so that's why he had been like reaching out to the family going, where's Wendy been? What's going on? And then they reached back out to him and said, well, here's what's been going on. And we would kind of like your help with this. So she told Don Lemon, I'll do the interview with you. First, I'm doing it with Charlemagne. They have a history, and then we'll do this interview. So she's done 2 interviews now, and all the major news outlets, bloggers, everyone from me, comedians, are picking up on this story because that's, that was the purpose, is to start a conversation to get people talking about this so that it could be looked into. Silly Goose says he wanted her out of the way. That's what it seemed like. Her husband did her so dirty, Pamela B. He was a dirty dog. Susan S. said court-appointed guardians can rob you blind. It's a fucked up system in New York. And that's kind of what Wendy was saying, is that she's like, this guardian is making money off me. So it's difficult because I don't know the specifics of how much money, but if that is if you become a guardian of a, someone with a lot of money, how willing are you to, depending on your moral code, I guess, be honest whether or not they are capable of living on their own or living with someone else. If you're making money off it, it's kind of like, well, then your job goes away. Now you could argue, well, then she'd go get another guardianship job, but not a Wendy Williams. I don't know how much she's getting paid, but I hope that these interviews open up the conversation and the questions to that. And this, system, like Susan says, that seems to be effed up. Let's see. Osflagro says, I was heartbroken watching the documentary. The arrangement doesn't work. Let her be with her niece, sister, or son. And I guarantee, how close she is with her niece. I know that if she could, her niece would relocate her down close to her and they would help. It just seems like, why isn't that happening? Why can't Wendy be around her loved ones and her family? It's not like her family has written her off and said, you deal with her. They're actively now saying, look into this. It's messed up. I don't know if the conservatorship is similar to a power of attorney. It might be, but conservatorship might be, like Evelyn is saying, much more restrictive and has much more control over the person's life than a power of attorney. And then when does the guardianship end? So there's just a lot of questions that need to be asked. So hopefully with this story trending and people talking about it, those questions will be asked, will be answered, and there can be some justice if in fact there is some nefarious shit going down with this guardianship and with Wendy Williams, because she's just like, I don't want to be in this place. I think Wendy, what is Wendy, like 60, early 60s? She just says, I just don't feel like I need to be here. Her stuff is in storage, she said. I think they sold her apartment. I don't know if she has access to her money. According to her, she can't even go to Sephora. She tells the Guardian, and then they order it and then they bring it to her, but she wants to, live a life, be out there. A luxe tale. Prince has just long-haired cats. There's just something about where they just look so fancy and luxurious. So I guess this Prince is going to put you in one. I think he is. Be careful. If you guys ever see me in a guardianship and Prince is the guardian, know that. And he's just on here pressing buttons. Just know. Susie Q says power of attorney is voluntary by the person, where conservatorship is court ordered. Yes. So someone can appoint you power of attorney. People will do that as they get older or sick or something, and give, certain their children power of attorney. But yeah, the conservatorship like Britney Spears had was court ordered. So she's only 60. Oh my goodness. I mean, I just feel like it would, from the, amount that I know, which isn't everything about the situation, it feels like she would do better with her family. And if her family's even questioning it, then they gotta question it. Yeah. She's in New York and her family's in Florida, but she has made it clear on these interviews that she wants to be in Miami, in Florida, with her family. So let her do it. So I'll keep you guys updated. We'll keep following this. This just happened this morning. So, Wendy and her niece were just really hoping that there wasn't going to be any backlash from the Guardian or the powers that be over her right now, since she is speaking out. And I hope that there isn't any backlash for her either. Okay. We don't talk about this too much because it's just like, oh my goodness, it's so much. But this whole lawsuit, Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds. Apparently now Justin Baldoni sues Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds for $400 million and drags Taylor Swift into the "It Ends With Us" battle. And I was like, what does Taylor Swift have to do with this other than being besties with Blake Lively? So Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively. He was also facing Lively's dragons, quote unquote, two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world. The lawsuit obtained by Page Six states. So he's saying that he had to deal with these dragons. The actor-director accuses his former co-star in the complaint obtained by Page Six of utilizing the pop superstar to further assert control over the production of the popular film It Ends With Us. The lawsuit claims Baldoni was invited into Lively's New York City penthouse where Reynolds and a famous and famously close friend of the couple were present and allegedly gushed about the direction in which Lively had taken the script with her rewrite. So he's like, "Oh, Taylor Swift was there, and she was strong arming them with compliments to Lively's rewrite." This is ridiculous. After the meeting, Baldoni then texted Blake Lively about the pivotal rooftop scene. Now, I haven't seen the movie. There was just too much drama. I'm like, I don't even want to watch this movie. Per the complaint, and seemingly appears open to feedback. "I really love what you did. It really does help a lot," he wrote. "Makes it so much more fun and interesting. And I would have felt that way without Ryan or Taylor." This is what he sent to her. Lively responds by telling her co-star that she wants him to win as a director and actor, and that they are on the same team with the same goal. Lively then goes on to gush over Reynolds and Swift, calling them absolute titans as writers and storytellers, adding, "I'm so lucky to have them as creative barometers, and that they are her dragons," quote unquote, "who protect her in her battles." However, Baldoni's attorneys now argue that their client felt obliged. Dang, Taylor Swift strong-armed this man, he's saying. He felt that he had no other choice but to text Lively to say that he liked her pages. Sir, that's too much. That is too much. I'm sorry. And hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. The message could not have been clearer. Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively, he was facing Lively's dragons, two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world, who were not afraid to make things difficult for him. Oh, Jesus. The message could not have been clearer. Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively, blah, blah, blah. Swift's rep did not immediately return Page Six's request for comment. Just leave Taylor Swift alone. She's been through enough. She had to do a whole eras, sir. So then they show the text exchange. And, oh, geez, Louise. The lawsuit further alleges that aside from script rewrites, Lively also began inserting herself into the production process in intrusive ways well beyond the scope of her contractual entitlement. For example, Lively began to insist on creative control over her character's wardrobe. How dare she? How dare she? While lead actors are sometimes granted approval over their character's general look, they generally do not receive full control over. Baldoni's lawsuit also addresses allegations Lively made in the initial California Civil Rights Department complaint she filed and subsequent lawsuit against the actor for emotional distress and harassment. The Gossip Girl alum has claimed that her co-star made her feel uncomfortable on several occasions by allegedly making sexually suggestive remarks, including speaking about his past porn addiction. What in the what? How do we know he has a past? What is going on with the porn addiction? Okay. Baldoni also denies that he ever walked in on Lively when she was breast pumping or breastfeeding for her newborn, as was alleged in her complaint. Oh boy. Oh my God. His lawyers argue in the new lawsuit that Lively was actually so close and comfortable with the director that she freely breastfed in front of him during meetings. She took photos of him holding and soothing her crying baby in her penthouse. The complaint further claims they laughed deliriously during late night writing sessions. All of these events took place after the alleged sexual harassment. Lively's accusations seemed to come out of the blue. Baldoni claims that Lively was the one who made derogatory comments about his appearance, telling him he should undergo a rhinoplasty, not a nose job. I've had one of those. It's invasive, but it's a game changer. Okay. The suit also disputes Lively's claim that Baldoni hired a crisis manager in order to disparage her reputation. Something happened, you guys, because I'm sorry. Who was hating on Blake Lively until this lawsuit came up? All of a sudden, and I always question that whenever I see what appears to be like a blatant smear campaign against a woman, I'm like, why? How did this come out of nowhere? All of a sudden, it was every interview she ever did was pulled up, and look how she's responding, and everything was picked apart. And I was like, Why are we supposed to hate the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants again? Why are we hating Gossip Girl? What's happening? And that's when I started to question, like, what's really going on here? And this whole thing is just exhausting, you know? So she took, so Baldoni claims that Lively was the one who made derogatory comments, blah, 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 about his appearance. The suit also disputes Lively's claim that Baldoni hired a crisis manager in order to disparage her reputation, claiming her own past resurfaced interviews were to blame. But why? Why just during this movie was everyone picking apart everything she ever said? It just seemed very strange to me. Lively's disastrous marketing efforts and tone-deaf press interviews and appearances backfired and led to widespread criticism of Lively's promotional approach to Finn's highly sensitive focus on domestic violence, his lawyers claim. And I think you can, both things can be true. You can go, oh, that is tone-deaf, or oh God, isn't this movie supposed to be about DV or something? So yeah, that's a little weird, but it seemed like even things that had nothing to do with this movie or the premise of this movie or this, or the subject matter, everything was coming out about Blake Lively. Okay, yeah, so on DV. Baldoni's publicist Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan, who are also named as plaintiffs in the suit, add in a statement to Page 6, to be clear, Miss Lively and her team initiated this smear campaign in the media for the sole intention of gaining undeserved public sympathy for her own missteps. So then he's like, oh no, I didn't do this. She started a smear campaign against me. Over the last month, we've received death threats, abhorrent abuse, and vile anti-Semitic slurs hurled at us due to her decision to use us as scapegoats for her own choices promoting her film, in which she made millions of dollars. They conclude, with this filing, we lift our own curtain of what happens when the entitled weaponize power, fear, and money to destroy, intimidate, and bully those who get in their way. In his lawsuit, Baldoni also blasts Reynolds for allegedly becoming angry and aggressive with him at an all-hands meeting that took place as tension. That I believe. I believe that Ryan Reynolds is a little, but that I believe. I mean, he did Alanis Morissette so dirty, and I'll never forget it. But okay, all right. Reynolds demanded that Baldoni apologize to Lively for actions that had either never happened or had been grossly mischaracterized, his lawyers allege. Baldoni resisted apologizing for things he had not done, further enraging Ryan Reynolds, aka Daredevil. The attorneys claim that a producer and Sony representative who were present for the meeting left in shock. Oh. What, are they going to get them to testify that they left in shock? The producer said that in his 40-year career, he had never seen anyone speak to someone like that in a meeting, the complaint states. The Sony representative said later that she often thought of the meeting and her one regret was not intervening to stop Ryan Reynolds' tirade against Baldoni. Page 6 reached out to reps for Lively, Reynolds, and their publicist, Leslie Sloan, who is also named in Baldoni's lawsuit, but did not immediately hear back. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, meanwhile, further alleges in his complaint, Lively stole Wayfair's movie, hijacked Wayfair's premiere, destroyed plaintiffs' personal and professional reputations and livelihood, and aimed to drive plaintiffs out of business entirely. Damn. It further appears that Lively worked for months with the equally powerful New York Times to prepare a false and damaging narrative to deploy against plaintiffs. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Thank you, Chickenhead, for the first super chat of the live. Chickenhead said, I would like to see what the movie studio was saying to each of them. Me too. Me too. I'm sure we're going to see more than we ever asked for, because I've already seen more than I've ever asked for. Okay. Fun with Larissa says, why did he agree to the list of things she wanted him to stop doing if he wasn't doing them? That's a great question. That's a great question. Pamela says, Blake and Ryan were looking at homes here in Charlotte. Oh, interesting. Graphics designer says, the way they were promoting this film is more the studio's fault than Blake's. That's That's a very fair point. Sarah Lynch says, well, if you think about it, if one story comes out about people, usually other people come forward with their stories too. You're not wrong on that, which could explain the kind of avalanche of stories that came out. Christy and Plant says it's definitely hard to know the truth on this one. It is confusing, right? Because I am very much, obviously, I'm going to believe a woman when she comes forward. It's extremely hard to come forward. I think we have to support each other. And I am never that person that's going, it didn't happen, and this is one that it's been hard to keep up with because there is so much and it is very confusing. And also Ryan Reynolds seems like kind of a douche. So all those things are, I've never even saw Daredevil because I'm like, I'm just like kind of over his whole Ryan Reynolds shtick. No offense, all offense, H&H says she never talked about what the movie was about. She just said, bring your florals. I saw that. And talked about the Louis Vuitton shoes that were hers, that she danced on a table with and was so proud of it. Yeah. What does Sony say? Good question. Lucy says, I'm not Team Blake, but I'm Team Beldoni did something messed up on that set. Yeah. Dreadful, because to be like Blake would do this, I think the narrative, the picture's always painted that women do this to destroy men to get their way, she's not going to win either. No woman is going to, it is a very rare occasion when you have someone who comes out with these kind of allegations against someone and that they're not true. I know people will get mad at me for saying that, but it's the same people, when someone claims they were SA'd, 99.9% of the time, yeah, they were SA'd. Because no woman knowing what we go through in society, and even with privilege and power and money, we see you are still dragged down, and so it's not just taking down his career, it's also taking down her in the process. Now, the only thing I could think is maybe, this was heavily, possibly, and again, this are just speculation, heavily encouraged by Ryan Reynolds getting her into this situation. But then Blake's no dummy. She's not gonna, just do what Ryan Reynolds says. But her husband, aka. But when people are like, this is what women do, they lied. It's like, no. That is a narrative and a falsehood that we have to destroy. Because then people are always looking skeptical at victims, and then it makes it harder for other women to come forward about things. Obviously, not everyone's intention, male or female, are always going to be pure. But for the most part, when women come forward with these things, I think the best thing to do is to, in my opinion, is to believe them. And not quickly fall into that, she's probably lying because she wants to destroy a man. Because it's always, the women want to destroy the men. We don't. We really don't. We don't. We just want to be able to choose men and not a bear. That's it. That's all, in my humble opinion. Dreadful Ruby says, can it be a smear campaign when it's all just people on the internet discussing interviews that they see with their own eyes? Everything people were mad at were true? Roxanne says, Blake plays herself in every movie. Same hair, makeup, clothing. The pretty girl who's irresistible. She's irresistible. Anna says, I think the overarching issue is how PR campaigns can dictate public opinion is important and interesting. But I find this particular case, I agree with you. It's exhausting. But it's the PR campaigns can also present as propaganda in a lot of ways where you're like, what the heck is really going on? Christy says, I'm with you, Anna. April says, this is where I ride the fence, like Karen Huger. I don't agree nor disagree. Yeah, I'm not sure either way. Obviously, I don't have the answers, but I do side eye when people are going so hard. When a woman comes forward, I'm like, I don't know. No, we're talking about Wayfarer, I think the author of the book. I might have been pronouncing her name incorrectly. Not Wayfarer, you got just what I need. Not that. So H&H says, I will not be reading the book because of Blake. I cannot support people like her, a liar, and a disgrace to the Me Too movement. Oof, wow. That's a big statement. Liz S says, I can't stand either of them, but I'll always side with her first. LOL. Yeah. I understand that. I understand that. Last thing I saw, I think that's the last thing I saw him in was the proposal. I think the only thing I really loved Ryan Reynolds in was Just Friends, which is a Christmas movie classic, and Blade Trinity, obviously. It's not just Justin, it was a partner who seemed to make her feel the ick. Chicken Head said. NYC Girl Forever says, I don't see much confusion, honestly. A woman calls out a man in a work environment and the attacks start because that's what they do. I've had it happen to me. The one I dared to speak up. And that's the part right there. I think almost every woman can relate to when you do speak up and then the attack starts. And then people are afraid to speak up because you're going to be then attacked or you could lose your job. People then come for you. They pick apart everything about you. And that's what it seemed like as this story was coming out, that they were just picking apart everything about Blake Lively. Let's see. April says, yes, but using that would be so terrible if it isn't so for those of us who have been through it. Yes. Roxanne says Jolene Blake's had a bad reputation from the beginning, not well liked. They brought Taylor Swift into Strong Arm Baldoni. Sometimes we do lie. That seems like Taylor Swift is going to, I understand she's the biggest pop star. I get like she's a big deal, she's one of the biggest pop stars. But to strong arm, like that just feels like a grown man. If I was trying to convince my husband of something and I brought in Taylor Swift, he would be like, what's Taylor doing? How do you know Taylor Swift? Like, I don't think he would, if I'm like, okay, Chell, I need to talk you into this, that, or the other thing. How would was Taylor Swift funding part of the movie? I mean, what was Taylor Swift going to do? Write a song about him? Let's see. NYC Girl says Blake doesn't have to be likable to deserve a safe work environment. And that pin that comment, because that's the thing. They're victims of this. People in general, you don't have to be. There's no such thing as a perfect victim, as a perfect, person who speaks up. You can always find something in their background to vilify them. And that's what we've seen happen so many times when women bring up accusations of SA or DV, especially SA. We see this done in our own justice, system, where then they pick apart the woman, every little thing she's ever done, any person she's ever slept with, and any person she's ever dated. The slut shaming starts. It just is a damn mess, and it's abhorrent the way that women are treated when they speak up about, not feeling safe, feeling attacked, feeling harassed, feeling SA'd. Not good. Christy and Plant says, interesting, Chickenhead, I'll have to catch the stream. There's a stream from Runkle. Chickenhead, thank you for the super chat. Says, after listening to Ian, I believe that the studios paid both of them off each other. After listening to Ian, I believe that the studios. Interesting. Is Ian Runkle? Is that the lawyer guy? Lucy says, if Blake stole the movie from him, it's because he deserved it. And she was also probably trying to save the story from his creepy male gaze. Well, I mean, if there's going to be a book about a lady in a DV situation and then a guy comes forward and is like, I want to write it. You're like, man, you guys really want to do everything. End Up says, I believe you're at first, but after all these reports came out, I said I had her heart and I don't really believe a lot of her complaints. Interesting. Care Bear says, I'm always going to choose the damn bear. Me too. Graphic says, I think there's supposed to be a sequel movie too. What will happen now? That's a good question. I just think this whole situation really overshadowed the movie. So who knows? H&H says Blake and Ryan are still out of touch. They believe that all of these comments about their character was paid for by Justin. It's a bit humorous. Well, I mean, I don't think any comment about Ryan Reynolds. I see him as kind of douchey. I never got the vibe from Blake Lively. And I honestly never heard any bad stuff about Blake Lively. I thought she was always Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, Gossip Girl, in with like America Ferrera and them. I guess I didn't think anything. Wayfarer. Okay. A sequel, Roxanne says, to a horrible movie. Oh my goodness. I loved Van Wilder. Yes, I'm in therapy. Oh, I remember Van Wilder or the or what was the serving one he was in? Waiting. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Baldoni has a short film called The Proposal 2, and it's the cringiest thing in existence. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that guy, but except for I give a little side eye. A little side eye. Mm-hmm. And The Proposal with Sandra Bullock, that's actually a really good movie with Betty White in it. I like that one. Mallory says, it's very telling when a woman says something and is proven wrong. Amanda Heard. The immediate hate and offense remarks say a lot about the person. Just waiting to hate on women when it's popular. Yeah, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to join the I Hate Blake Lively club. And if that makes me wrong, then I'm wrong. I'll be wrong all day. I'm just not going to join the I Hate Blake Lively club because I don't hate her. And I don't know all of what's going on. But I trust that something happened. I've read all but 3 lawsuits, and I think Baldoni is full of BS still, Lucy says. Lucy is like, I don't believe it. Is Hype Man Husband Chell in the chat? Did I not see my husband's comment? Sorry, Chelly, if I didn't see. Or maybe that was just me talking about Chell. Steven says, not strong arming. Taylor is just having her girlfriends back. I mean, Taylor is literally, that's kind of in her brand is the picture of girl power in a lot of ways. So it's interesting that they're using that because Taylor does surround herself with like a circle of women who support each other. It's very like Galentine's Day 24/7 women empowerment. And they're like, yeah, she had her other woman empowerment pop star friend there saying stuff. And it's like, well, what did she say? She said it was good, that Blake's writing was really good and she loved it and she would make the movie like that. Yeah, they were totally strong arm. Okay. Sure. End up said, this case reminds me of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. It's going to drag out and split the opinions of the public. Yeah, it is reminiscent to that. Just reading like some of this, you're like, oh, okay. We're heading down that road again. Tracy says Justin Baldoni officiated the wedding of his close friends, Gina Rodriguez, Jane the Virgin. Oh, I remember that show. Oh, Runkle of the Bailey. Okay. Because I remember there was a Runkle like law tube channel that I had heard of through like Emily D. Baker and the law tube segments. April says, I'm just not a fan of Blake, but I'm all about women empowerment. Yeah, I've never had an issue with Blake. I don't know her. I've never had an issue with any of the things she's done, movies. I just thought it was very interesting that all of a sudden I was seeing all this hate for a lady. And I'm like, for like a powerful lady, I'm like, well, what's going on here? Why is everything she's ever done being dragged up and calling her out? So End Up said, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my God, my voice to text is making me cringe. Just ignore me today. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to read them all. Roxanne said, Jolene, watch GMA interview with America Ferrera and Blake. Blake's bragging and America rolls her eyes. Well, I'd be lying to say it. Have you never rolled your eyes at like your friend? She might be a bragger. She very much could be a bragger and all the things, but that doesn't mean that it isn't possible that she also felt some form of harassment in the workplace, that she felt unsafe in her work environment. Even douchebags can get sexually harassed, can get SA'd, can get all the things. That's what we have to remember. Even people you don't like, can, but again, I don't know for sure on any of this. This is just all of us kind of giving our opinions and speculating. Pamela says, I think maybe Ryan got a little too jealous because they were getting close on the set. Wouldn't that be just rich? Sarah Lynch says, for me, it's not about gender, it's about character. Interesting. But I would argue that the genders are treated very differently and their character is held to different standards in these types of situations. Very rarely are when men come forward with this, are they questioned and vilified as much as women are in the media, whether it be someone, a prominent person in, entertainment, or just a regular schmegular. Very rarely are they raked over the coals. It's different. We do, this is a patriarchal society. There is a lot of misogyny that exists. And so I think that overriding truth is, in my opinion, makes it different for when women come forward versus men and how we're treated. HNH says, are you talking about, okay, your own situation? Oh my goodness. Hi, Nana and Frankie. Oh, get well soon, Frankie. I love you. I love you, little guy. Get well soon. Mallory says, Justin Baldoni's, I love how you called him Baldono's proposal film is so much. It's his proposal to his wife. What? And it's 17 minutes long of just him showing off his acting and filmmaking. Unforgivable cringe. Oh, God. Oh, goodness. That's a lot. Where did Justin Baldoni even come from? I never even heard of this guy before then. And that could be my own ignorance and not being cultured enough to know everyone in the entertainment business. But yes, Cammie, as Alan Cumming would say, something is afoot. Something is afoot. Chickenhead said, I believe Blake because I think she has told stuff and had more of a role than what the studio told Justin. Interesting. Lucy says, Joleen Baldoni proposed to his now wife with a 30-minute, so that must be the proposal, mini movie cakes proposal called The Proposal. And it was all about him being the star. Listen, I'm going to side-eye any dude that wants to be the writer for a movie about a woman's experience with DV. And if I was the author of that book, I go, no, you can't write that story. Nope. I'm going to side-eye any straight guy or any guy in period who's going to be like, oh, is that a wonderful, open, vulnerable story about a woman and her experience with DV? I will recreate that into a screenplay. I will write that. I am the person to do that. I'm sorry, why? What makes you qualified? I side-eye that. That's just me. Silly Goose said, just keep the drama coming. I got 4 years to ignore the real world. Hashtag ain't that the truth. Hi, Frankie. We love you. H&H says, I love this place. I worked there for 10 years. I loved all my customers, but I had to walk away because management was doing nothing. I'm so sorry that you had such a horrific experience and that you didn't feel like your company had your back. And then you had to secretly record him harassing you. You turned into your manager along with dash cam footage of him following me and me pulling over and then being there, and they wanted to ignore it. And I think that is so true when women speak up. They don't want to hear us, or it's kind of the old, well, what did you do to cause this? What were you wearing? What did you say? Did you lead him on? What happened? Why do you think he would do this to you? Again, putting the onus on the person who's like, hello, I'm not feeling safe. I'm getting harassed. It's like, but what did you do? Were you a bitch? Were you rude? Were you short with him? Did you hurt his ego? Did you get him upset? You shouldn't get him upset. Did you laugh at him? Well, you're lucky he didn't murder you if you laughed at him. So, yeah. Silly Goose says 2 things can be true at once. She can be an asshole and be mistreated. That's true. That's very true. Very, very, very true. Oh, you guys have such good comments today. I cannot even get to all of them. Baldoni was on the talk with his man bun. And again, a man bun, I mean, sometimes tolerated, very rarely though. And I mean very rarely. Very rarely. So you'd have to be something special. Pamela says, I thought Baldoni was cute, but I like creepy guys, LOL. Maybe my picker's off. Well, I like the self-awareness. Mm-hmm. I love the self-awareness that you know that about yourself. So, oh my goodness. Yes. Let Juju know that we're praying and, all the good stuff. Lucy says ex-patriarch says that he pretends to be a woman's hero so he can give access to women in their most vulnerable space and is likely to be accused because of his outward persona hiding his darkest desires. I will tell you, the guys that claim to be, that are like overly, now tell me if I'm wrong, ladies, feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the chat, but the guys that are overly like, I support you women. Yeah, women. And where they're like, they want people to know, like, I'm one of the good ones. They don't just like do the things that make you feel like safe and like they're a good human, but it's like all over their stuff and it's more for like attention. They're always the ones who are like smooth criminals, but not that smooth. They're the ones that are doing the most messed up stuff to women. So I side-eye them too. I'm like, they're putting it out there like, no, I'm an ally. I put that I'm helping. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm going to need to see proof of this. I'm going to need to see proof. Silly Goose says, yup. You shouldn't have to say you're a good guy. I should know from your behavior. I should know. I should know where to find you. I should know where you are. You shouldn't have to say that. Care Bear says, truth. Mallory says, it's easier to blame women than to hold men in the patriarchy accountable. 100. Check it. Mark that comment as a forever comment that should exist here forever. No lies were told by Mallory. It's so much easier to tear down a woman than to hold a man accountable. Look what we're dealing with. Look what we're going into 2025 with for the next 4 years. I was watching that Pete Hegseth. Oh, Lordy. We're in trouble, guys. We're in trouble. So, yeah, it's always a big cover up. It's the cis males, the Tom Sandovals. They're like, no, they hide behind like a powerful, like feminist woman. But secretly, and not so secretly, they resent her success, but they ride her coattails, but then blame her and try to tear her down. Oh, I've been on this earth long enough. I've seen it. I've seen it. That is a scary dude, that Pete. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. So we're gonna get through it together, you guys. Evelyn says, exactly. Actions speak louder than words. And people who talk about how great they are often trying to create a narrative because they're not so great. No. I mean, I do tell you in the beginning of each live that I'm excellent, but only really so I can play the la la clip. So yeah. We're riding the waves. Oh, John said, I'd like to provide the male perspective, but I have a few more sets of 47 push-ups too. Of course. Well, we know you're really doing 100 sets of push-ups, but you're just being humble because you're so strong, John. Thank you so much. Oh, the Bill Clintons. Number one, mark that, the douchebag of all douchebags over there, Bill Clinton, pretending to be an ally while being a whole ass predator. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Yuck. Every time I see him somewhere, I'm like, ew. Ew, ew. Ew, ew. A lot of men don't like women. Curly Views for You says, unfortunately, it seems like that. It seems like that. But you guys, simmer down. Don't be hysterical. John is doing his 150 set push-ups. We need to let him be calm while he's doing that, even though it's super easy for him to do. That was hilarious, John. That was a good one. I love a good one. Roxanne said, still stand with Baldoni. We'll see because everything will come out. They shouldn't have dueled. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Roxanne. Oh, there's a Jerry Springer documentary? Oh, I love that. Liz says, been there, got the t-shirt. Got the damn t-shirt. I'll have to watch that Jerry Springer documentary. All right. Moving on. This is why I don't like to dive too much into that because it's like, it's so messy. It does remind me of like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard a little bit as well. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, I saw David Lynch passed away from emphysema. So shout out to David Lynch. Some pretty prolific movies. I know we saw Blue Velvet in the theater when in LA, they always have like old movies that they'll replay in the theaters. And I know they do that in other cities like Minneapolis will do that with movies and stuff. And I love when they do that because obviously I didn't see Blue Velvet when it came out, but so many movies, so much. Twin Peaks, I know a lot of people loved Twin Peaks, but David Lynch, the stylish director behind mega hits like Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, and Eraserhead, has died. He was 78. Variety reported the news today, citing a Facebook post from Lynch's family announcing his death, which comes not long after the filmmaker shared that he had been diagnosed with emphysema. It is with deep regret that we, his family, announced the passing of the man and the artist, David Lynch. We would appreciate some privacy at this time. There's a big hole in the world now that he's no longer with us, but as he would say, keep your eye on the donuts and not on the hole. The post shared, it's a beautiful day with golden sunshine and blue skies all the way. Deadline reports that Lynch's health took a turn for the worse when he was forced to relocate his home due to the Los Angeles wildfires. The director recently revealed that emphysema had left him homebound and unable to continue filmmaking. I've gotten emphysema from smoking for so long. David Lynch had said, here, let me add this to the screen. And so I'm homebound, whether I like it or not. He told Sight and Sound in August 2024, I can't go out. I can no longer walk a short distance before I'm out of oxygen. Born in Missoula, Montana in 1946, Lynch began his career in 1967 as an uncredited writer for the short film Absurd Encounter. Put your favorite David Lynch project in the chat, you guys, while we're discussing this. And it was the 1977 horror Eraserhead that put Lynch on the map and launched his career, landing him his next major feature, The Elephant Man, for which he was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Director. His famous works, Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive, I remember when Mulholland Drive came out, were also nominated for Academy Awards, though it took until 2019 for Lynch to be honored by the Academy. He received the honorary Oscar for Lifetime Achievement presented to him by Blue Velvet stars Kyle MacLachlan, a frequent collaborator of his, and Isabella Rossellini. His collaborative partnership with MacLachlan began in the 1984 adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune. MacLachlan later starred in Lynch's iconic horror series Twin Peaks, which follows a quirky detective investigating the murder of a popular high school student in a small Washington town. In 2017, the revival of Twin Peaks: The Return became one of the final writing credits of Lynch's career, after which he returned to his roots by writing and creating several short films. He was most recently set to return with a new Netflix series titled Unrecorded Night that was canceled during the pandemic. So RIP David Lynch. You guys are putting Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet. Chell had never seen Blue Velvet until we went and saw it in the theater in LA. So that was kind of fun. Being with him as he saw it for the first time. Cami says, I'm a huge fan of Twin Peaks. My brother and sister-in-law, huge fans of Twin Peaks as well. I have never went back and rewatched Twin Peaks. Isn't it Laura Palmer? From when it was in real time, I was pretty young, and I remember watching it but not getting as into it as I probably should have. Let's see. Yes, the best thing anyone can do, if you can, quit smoking now. I know it's so hard and it's so addicting, and they do not make it easy. But if you can, do it. Do it. Pamela says Blue Velvet, one of my favorites, Eraserhead, Twin Peaks, etc. RIP. Lucy says, can we listen to the Twin Peaks theme song in his memory? I wish. They'll copyright strike me. Valerie says Blue Velvet was iconic. Saw it in the theater. Did you see it in real time, Valerie? Oh my goodness. Oh, Bob died, you guys are saying? We had 2 deaths. Bob Uecker? Is that how you say it? Bob Uecker? The actor? The sports? Oh, wasn't he in Little Big League? Or one of those movies? Major League. Oh, it's Uecker, right? Beloved Brewers broadcaster Uecker dies at 90. Milwaukee Bob Uecker, the voice of the hometown Milwaukee Brewers. Oh, love to my Scotty peeps, who after a short playing career earned the moniker Mr. Baseball. Passed away at 90. Well, that is a good long life, but when you love someone, it's never long enough. So Beloved Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker. Let me know if I'm destroying his name. He's your Brewers guy. I'm so sorry, Anna. Yeah, he is so, I mean, he's nationally recognized, probably from Major League, but is the voice of the hometown Milwaukee Brewers. Mr. Baseball. The team announced Uecker died Thursday morning, calling it one of its most difficult days in Milwaukee Brewers history. Was he still the voice up until his passing? In a statement released by the club, Uecker's family said he had faced a private battle with a small cell lung cancer since early 2023. Even in the face of this challenge, his enthusiasm for life was always present, never allowing his spirit to falter. R.I.P., sir. R.I.P. Bob was the genuine item, always the funniest person in any room he was in, and always an outstanding ambassador for our national pastime. MLB Commissioner Rhob Manfred said in a statement, "We are grateful for this baseball life like no other, and we will never forget him. On behalf of Major League Baseball, I extend my deepest sympathy to Bob's family, his many friends across the game, Brewers fans, and the countless baseball fans who admired him. He was best known as a colorful comedian and broadcaster who earned his nickname during one of his numerous appearances on Johnny Carson's Late Show. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Uecker was a beloved member of the baseball community and pillar of the sport in Wisconsin. When the Brewers clinched the NL Central title in 2024, manager Pat Murphy threw an arm around Uecker in the locker room, pulling him in tight as players white-knuckled their corks, ready to shower him in champagne. There is no one who epitomizes a champion the way this man does right here," Murphy proclaimed as the players chanted, "Ueck." Oh, what an example for us to be with every single day. After the Brewers were eliminated from the playoffs in 2024, he made sure to visit the locker room and offer support to players in a way only he could. Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich said afterward the toughest part of the night was talking to Uecker because the Brewers knew how badly the longtime broadcaster wanted to see Milwaukee in a World. Has Milwaukee ever been in a World Series? I remember you saying that no matter how much time you have, it still never feels like enough. And that seems pretty true today, Yelich said Thursday in an Instagram post. "You'd always thank me for my friendship, but the truth of it is the pleasure was all mine. I'll miss you, my friend." Dang, this is just going to make me cry. R.I.P., sir. R.I.P. Kerber says he played on the St. Louis Cardinals in 1964, 1965. Well, get it, Bob. Get it, Bob. This is like the Mary Cosby, it's going to make me cry like the Mary Cosby Angie conversation yesterday. So yeah, we got to change the subject. But shout out to all my Scotty peeps, all my Wisconsinites. And so sorry for your loss. Okay. So let me get back on. All right, we have to talk a little bit before we wrap up about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Okay, did you guys watch the finale last night? Were you guys with me? We did a finale watch party. It was insane in the membrane. I then woke up this morning to watch the unedited, longer version of the finale on Peacock, which if you haven't done that, do it. All the swears, extra stuff, more information. And then I had to watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after shows that they posted. And oh my God, can I just say, them deciding, first of all, we went to the final dinner of the season in Mexico within like 15 minutes of the episode. So you knew it was going to be good. You're like, because sometimes they'll wait and they give you like 10 minutes. No, you got 45 minutes of just an unhinged housewives dinner. And a Salt Lake City one, which never disappoints. And then before that, you even got some drama at a lunch. They had a little ceviche, a little horseback riding. They had a Lisa Barlow that ate Lisa's lunch, where they were like, "I love that. I love that." They all dressed up like Lisa, and Whitney just roasted her they were doing their impressions. And Lisa was like, "Oh, Whitney, you left the tag on your shirt." And Whitney's like, "Yeah, I did that on purpose because that's what you do." Lisa's like, "I'm sorry, me? Are you saying I returned my clothing? That's what the word on the street is. You return your clothing. And then Brittany was just, she was beside herself again, because since she was caught filming the ladies, they have not been trusting her when she was like, I wasn't filming you guys. I was like going like this, but it was like, I was calling my daughter. It was my grandson's sister's daughter's graduation from turtle camp. And I want to say hi to her. It's not, I didn't, you know how like when you're holding the picture and you can like get a little video of it. I didn't know I was filming. It was a second. Okay. Maybe it was 24 seconds, but either way. And was it while you guys were like arguing and fighting? Sure. But it like, I didn't even mean it. So she's still, pretending she wasn't filming them on purpose. Girl, you were. You're probably going to send it to Jared Osmond or a friend or something, or post it somewhere, who knows, from the Sprinter van. So when she's, she is somehow the victim, even though she's the one who was doing that shit. And she's like, oh, you guys speak to me horribly. Well, they didn't like that you were filming them secretly. I mean, are they on a reality show? Sure. Should they be so weird about being filmed? Probably by other people on the cast, not knowing what they're going to do with it. Or now that we have Bloggergate, you guys. And then in the extended version, there's just so much. Okay. I know Busy and I are going to talk about this on our Sip and Key channel, but in the extended version on Peacock, they got more information from Whitney regarding the whole Alibaba rumor. Was it Lisa or not? And, we know that she's talking about Up and Adam in a conversation they had. Shout out to Up and Adam. And Heather Gay, basically, Meredith comes forward in the conversation. And we saw this in the Bravo Real-Time episode, the live finale, where Meredith is like, I'm friends with a blogger. And we've hung out socially a number of times. And he called me. And he said he did not tell you, Whitney, that it was Lisa Barlow. He said he didn't. You said that. When he's like, no, I talked to him. Well, he told me, and then we had a conversation after. And Lisa Barlow goes, that's not proof. That's not proof. Well, Lisa, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that you do leak stories to the press, because I know that with Monica's, well, I know I'm forgetting what the blog or the Instagram account was called. I'm just thinking of Alibaba, but and they're like, how do you know this? I reached out to Monica, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what? And then they're like, how could you? And then Heather Gay ends up saying that Meredith she's mad at Whitney, obviously, for reaching out to Monica. How dare you reach out to our sworn enemy? But she also says, Meredith, you should be ashamed that man, talking about Up and Adam, has your phone number, and that he calls you to get you mad at your friends and lies. These are people, random people on the internet. We can't let them get in between our friendship. I was like, Heather Gay is like starting her feud with Up and Adam. Because she really said, you should be ashamed that man has your phone number, and you should change your phone number. Now, I get what Heather Gay's saying. Like, once they start getting bloggers involved and they start getting, reaching out, and they have their little sides, it does get really messy. And that's not my favorite. It's not my favorite thing either. But I was like, damn, Heather. She said, you should be ashamed that man has your number. You should change it. We can't let these random people. I was like, yeah, Meredith talks to Adam. Like, I'm pretty sure they're pretty friendly. I mean, I saw that they were hanging out during BravoCon. I mean, I don't think he's just random. I think that Meredith, probably pursued a friendship with him. He pursued it with her. That's why I don't want to be friends with anybody, but I'm also not a blogger. So I'm just a comedian giving commentary. But I was like, damn, Heather, they did not air that part. So I was like, oh, I know Adam has seen that. I wonder what his opinion on that is. To have her saying, this is some random man and you should change your phone number. That man. Oh, he's got receipts. Okay, I was excited. I was like, I got to check out Adam's channel today and see what he has. And what he thinks about Heather Gay saying. I was like, damn, Heather, what did Up and Adam do to you? So they're playing Adam dirty. Well, I'm glad that he's showing receipts. I can't wait. Maybe we'll talk about Adam's receipts tomorrow, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure Adam is like friends with Meredith, because he's friends with, him and Jason are friends with housewives. They're friends with Caroline Stanberry. They're friends with people. They're friends with people from Southern Charm. They like hang out with them, So I was like, well, he's not just some random guy. It's not like he just called Meredith out of the blue. I'm pretty sure they've hung out before. I mean, I've seen it before. So I don't know. I guess we'll see if Adam said it was Lisa or not, or if Whitney read into this and got information from Monica. So Monica was brought up again. And then Heather's like, she gives her little spiel, and she gives multiple monologues where she's like, hey guys, we're all guilty of talking horrible, disgusting, gross, toxic shit on each other. We have all said the most disgusting, vile things, but we are friends. We all have our burn books. They might not be a physical, cheesy recreation of Mean Girls burn book, but they're in our phones. So I thought tonight's dinner, we could just we thought we got rid of the problem with Monica. We didn't. So I thought today we could just go through our phones and you could find the most heinous, disgusting, horrible thing you've ever said about someone at this table, give it to them to read. Okay. Then they can read it out loud for all of us. And then we'll all move on. And I'm thinking, I'm sorry. I'm a human. I'm saying excuse me to my table. I'm very Minnesotan. Excuse me. I didn't mean to hurt your table. I am very much the type of person where once I know you said that shit about me, oh, you're dead to me. Like I can't come back from a lot of this shit. So I'm thinking this is going to end horribly. Very entertaining, but it's going to end horribly. Okay. Is he going to talk about it tomorrow? Hurry up, Adam. Talk about it. You guys go pressure him to talk about it. I want to know. But yeah, I can't take fake shit. Like if I know you were behind my back saying some of this stuff, I'd be like, ew, gross. Very entertaining to watch. But Heather's like, won't that be great? And everyone's like, okay, yeah. I think Meredith is like, I don't want to do this. I don't think this is a good idea for my family. I just want to make bath bombs. I do not throw up. I'm not a drug addict. I don't have an eating disorder. It was just me and Seth. We were in a marital talk. And he said, receipts, bitch, proof, bitch, or something. So they start. And I think they started with Mary Cosby. And Mary Cosby's, well, I forget who they started with. But Mary Cosby's, I was like, oh my God. It's going to be so bad. Mary has called Heather an inbred, like, whoa. And Mary's was really just a pretty good read on how Heather has changed since the first and second season. Mary of the show, Mary's basically was like what the issues the audience has with Heather. So I was like, oh. And then Heather starts crying. You think I've changed? I've just put up boundaries. Have you? Or were you up Jen Shah's ass? And were you believing your own hype? And are you just really bad at picking friends? And then you go hard for these horrible friends. And then you come back and it's just, no. Mary's was pretty spot on. Okay. Now put in the chat who's your favorite read, the favorite mean text. I think you guys know if you watched my watch party last night what my favorite mean text was, but 110, 12, 20% it was, and it makes me laugh and that might make me a horrible person. Okay. But it was Angie K, her text about Bronwyn. I've watched it maybe like 10 times and I laugh every time. Okay. So let's just revisit this read. And some might say I'm horrible, but if I'm a horrible person for laughing at this, then that's how it is. But this was my favorite.
Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan, marrying a guy who has one foot in the grave.
Oh, she's already crying.
And one on a banana peel. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. She's nice, but she doesn't listen because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight she can't hear anything. She wears a hot dog outfit to remind us she sucked her way to the top.
Okay.
She wears a hot dog costume to remind us that she sucked her way to the top. It reminds me of the John Cougar Mellencamp song, "Sucking on a Chili Dog, outside a tasty freeze." sucking on chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze. I was just like, what? What? She chose to, her business venture was to marry a rich man who's got one foot in the grave and one foot on a banana peel. And Bronwyn's like, and the hot dog. It was funny. Obviously, if you're Bronwyn, it's not that funny. Okay. But it was funny. It makes me laugh. And that might make me the worst person ever. But it was Angie K is my favorite. I've just this season I have decided that I just love Angie K, and I'm not going to apologize for that. And my opinion could change in the future, I guess. But whatever she's giving, whatever she's doing right now is just so good. Yeah, Mother Angie cleared her. It was, and Angie's that type. She's that personality. You piss her off, she's going to stand up, a tit's going to fall out, and she's going to throw something at you. Not saying it's right, but it's okay, Whitney Houston. We're going to make it, Annie. She's going to lash out. And I think that's kind of, well, Mary is kind of similar to that too. But they do kind of calm each other in a way. And they have their whole, we'll talk about that in a minute. But right, families, I have more respect for Angie now. But I didn't feel bad on that one because I think Todd Father is so annoying. So I didn't care. But Angie's like, oh my God, she's crying already. And Angie does, when she says that stuff, she's like, oh. And in the extended episode, she does say that hearing how it hurt someone, hearing the words said and how hurt she was, she does feel bad. So, oh well. And then Brittany's, oh my God, Brittany's was so dumb. They're like, Brittany, can you tell us the worst thing you've said about someone in a text on your phone and read it to them? Okay. Can I record this? No, I go, no. Okay. I can't record it. I was just going to send it to my daughter, but whatever. I just wanted to congratulate her on winning the lottery and Wheel of Fortune, but I guess I can't here. You guys don't want to see me do well. Anyways, Mary, this is you. Mary's like, what's going on here? Okay. It's in the middle. Okay. I would rather invite Bronwyn for tea than Mary. And Mary's like, yeah. I'm sorry. No, that is not the meanest thing she has in her phone about one of the housewives. Hers was just like, I don't want to invite Mary for tea. I'm sorry. What in the Pollyanna is no, ma'am. You did not understand the assignment. You did not. And then Bronwyn had one for Brittany, and it was like, is this about me, Bronwyn? Okay. Brittany is emotionally manipulative. She parentifies her children. She's a hot mess. She trauma dumps. I don't enjoy her. Her kids don't talk to her. Jared Osmond is a freak, but not in a good way. Okay. Well, you don't know anything about me, but okay. And then they're supposed to read them out loud, and then they're just supposed to forgive and forget. And then Lisa, I don't remember seeing this in the live episode of the finale, but I saw it on Peacock. Lisa's was to Meredith. And I'm thinking, there is no way Lisa has a text about Meredith worse than what she got caught saying about Meredith on the hot mic, where she was like, you're a garbage slut. You effed half of New York. You're broke. You can't afford a house. Your husband can't keep a job. Your life is fake. Your kids are fake. Everything about you is fake. You're a bitch. I hate you. That was the worst. But apparently Lisa was like, Meredith, I have one about you. And Meredith's like, okay. No, this was a while ago, Meredith, before we made up. Okay. Thank you, Pamela. Pamela will stay away from chili dogs. Never gets old. Sucking on chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze. Okay, I'm going to read it. Meredith likes to plant stories on people and set them up or something like that. Okay. Well, it's okay because this is before we've made up. So it's okay. It's okay. And then, so Heather's already cried. And then Mary got one from Brittany. Who else is there? Oh, Whitney then gets one from, I thought Heather's to Whitney was the worst. It was the worst one of all because they're cousins, they're family. They were the friendship for a little bit you wanted to cheer for until you realize Heather hates her. Heather just wants to be friends with the cool girls. Heather doesn't respect Whitney. She doesn't care about Whitney. She's pretending. She likes to party with her, but really she does not value that friendship, in my opinion. Heather thinks Whitney's a joke, and I wish Whitney would wake up and see that Heather thinks she's a whole ass joke because she keeps telling her and proving it to her season after season, ultimate girls trip after ultimate girls trip. It's just sad. So Whitney's like, is this about me? Oh God, I'm already gonna cry. Okay. Whitney Rose is the fakest fuck I've ever met. She's so fake and disingenuine. And I hate her, and she's stupid, and she has balloon tits, and she I'm so mad that her business is bullshit that I had to sell. I even put her stupid Wild Rose products in my stores or whatever I have for laser treatments, and nobody ever bought any of it. And I fucking hate her, and she's stupid. And Heather's like, I don't really feel that way. And I'm like, yes, you do. And it was worse than that. But but I was like, yes, family. And I get they were cousins that didn't know they were cousins, and they're like fifth cousins, but I felt like there was a real bond there. And once Whitney started opening up about her trauma with her family or her dad, Heather was so quick to be dismissive of that. And I'm thinking, you ride so hard for the crook that is Jen Shah, who robbed the elderly and the vulnerable, but you can't even ride for your eighth cousin over here, who you say is like family and your best friend, when she has like actual trauma in her life. Yes, Heather tells her so many times, Care Bear, that she doesn't like her. She doesn't like her at all. But I feel like none of them take Whitney seriously, so they all brush it under the rug. You know, Pamela says, I hate that they brush it under the rug. I'm not a Whitney fan either, but she needs to wake up and stay away from, Heather is not her friend. Heather will put Lisa Barlow. She wanted to be, remember, Heather's the girl that's like, Lisa Barlow hated her. Lisa Barlow did the same thing to her that she's doing to Whitney. And Heather knows it, but Heather wanted to be friends with Lisa Barlow so bad. And Meredith, she wanted in that like cool girls clique, the Jen Shaws. And she knows deep down, she knows Whitney's a better friend, but she just needs, it's almost like she needs someone to kick. You know, she feels like she's weaker, she's dumber. And so she doesn't want her to get too close to the girls. It's like a competition. It's so weird, the dynamic, because you wouldn't expect it from Heather. I never expected when Heather first came on the show that she would be like this to Whitney or to anyone else. But it's like, oh no, I see what you're doing. I see. It's like a sneaky little backstabber. I actually like Whitney too. Now we'll see if she's behind this Jen Shah coming back. Then I don't know. My opinion might change. But I like Whitney. I want her to stand up for herself. And sure, does she get involved in some messy stuff? And has she accused Lisa Barlow quite a few times now of slutting it out for $1 or business deals and stuff? Yeah, she has. Okay. But I want her to be able to, you know, stand up, especially to Heather, who she's like, okay, are we good now? And I think she just said she was good with Heather because then Heather, because Heather it also came out about the Monica thing right before. So she doesn't want everyone to turn on her about Monica. So she's like, okay, you throw out that I contacted Monica. I'll throw out that you said all these horrible things about me, myself as a person, as a whole, my business, everything. And I did like how Mary came to Whitney's defense about the whole reaching out to Monica. She's like, first of all, you ladies aren't that nice. And Mary's not that nice to new people either. You know, but I think she knows that about herself, hopefully. But she's like, and Meredith's like, even Mary? Even Mary? Mary? And Mary's like, yeah, you, Meredith. You guys aren't the friendliest. Okay? So you do kind of lead people to do things out of desperation. Because Whitney's like, I just had to clear my name. You guys pushed me to a place where I had to clear my name. But now apparently you guys are saying Adam has receipts that maybe Whitney's lying. So I don't know. But then we get to Whitney's for Lisa. Okay. So Whitney's like, okay, the premise of the thing is to show the worst things so that we can move on. So mine's about Lisa. And Lisa's like, okay, give it to me. Give it to me. Now I want to move on from this. Lisa's like, whatever. Okay, let me look. It's a text she sent to Angie, and it says, I was at a party with John. This woman came up to us and asked if we ever wanted a third, that she'd be willing, and that Lisa Barlow can vouch for her because apparently she made out with Lisa while she jacked off John Barlow. And that one I thought was, oh my God. It was like, what? So when I saw it live, and if you guys were on the watch party, I reacted like, I thought she said, Lisa Barlow made out with this lady. That's what Whitney was saying. She talked to a lady at a party that said she made out with Lisa Barlow while Lisa was jacking off John Barlow. So I'm thinking, what's the big deal? But it was really, she made out with the lady, and the lady was working overtime. She was making out with Lisa and then jacking off John Barlow. Because at first I'm like, that's not that bad. And still, I'm kind of like, it's not that bad because you didn't have to do any work, Lisa. I mean, you got like free labor, basically, But apparently she was with Lisa and then over here with John Barlow. And Lisa's like, how dare you? How dare you talk about John Barlow? He is a saint. He's the nicest human on the. And I do like how Lisa goes so hard for her husband because I'm the same way with Chell. Like, I'm very protective of him. So if someone said something crazy about Chell, I think I would, especially if it was my friend. If it's like a stranger, I'm like, I don't care. Who cares? Well, I still, if it depends what it is. But I might laugh at something like that after, like, Joleen, I heard you were making out with a lady while she was jacking off Chell. I'd be like, well, no, but that's kind of funny. And I would probably just make a joke about it. But I understand. I got to sleep on it. And I'm thinking about Lisa Barlow. Do I think she was way over the top? And do I think her and Meredith are the type that can dish it out, but they can't take it? 100%. Okay. And I think Bronwyn was right when she was like, so we could talk about the Todd father being on a banana peel and me being a slut who marries for money, but we can't talk about your precious John Barlow. And I'm like, well, first of all, John Barlow is better than Todd. Okay. Even though what Bronwyn's saying is right. Like, what makes you so special that people can't say anything about you? And the point of the exercise that Heather came up with was to pick out the worst things so you could move on from them. So I kind of see both sides here, where if you're Lisa, you're thinking she's doing this shit again. She allegedly made up, if they're made up, rumors of Lisa doing sexual favors to get Vita tequila. So there's always some sexual element. And now she's again talking about them taking in a third lady to make out with and give handies, which, again, Lisa, she doesn't strike me as the type that wants to work. She strikes me as a pillow princess. So that lady did the work for you. Okay. And kissed you at the same time, which hopefully it was a nice kiss, allegedly. But I could see Lisa being like, oh, hell no, quit talking about me in a sexual way. I get why she'd be mad at Whitney. But the point of the exercise is to say the worst things. But I think in Lisa's mind, it's like, you're doing that on purpose. You're bringing that shit up again so that people think those things about me and my marriage. But then Lisa goes and she attacks Angie K, because Angie K goes, no one believed it, Lisa, because the text was sent to Angie by Whitney. And Lisa goes, yeah, but that's like, what if I say not John Barlow? What if I say Sean circle jerks? Or though, like, I heard Sean is circle jerks. I'm like, why does Sean got a circle jerk? Why can't Sean be getting a handy from a lady? Again, we're trying to push this, gay rumor, which is so tired. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, and the housewives world. It's always someone's husband's gay, but we never see him doing gay stuff. And they act like being gay is like the worst thing. I mean, obviously, if you're married to a man and he told you he wasn't gay and then he's secretly cheating on you and gay or bi, it's not going to be your favorite thing, But I feel like it has a tinge of homophobia in it, and it's just played out. Like, I'm so over everyone's husband who people don't like. It's like, he's gay. He's so gay. And it's like, okay, everybody's a little gay. Okay, clearly Lisa Barlow's making out with chicks over here, allegedly. But there was no reason for Lisa to bring Angie up. I think in Lisa's mind, she was like, oh, this is like, Angie, you would be just as mad as me because this is the same thing they did to Sean last year. But Angie's like, fuck you. She gets up, her nipple pops out. She's full areola, screaming at her, going, how dare you? Throws flowers at her, because in Angie's world, she's like, we just got over those rumors. our daughter seeing it. It affected us. And the like infidelity aspect of it. And now you just put it back on the forefront and you're supposed to be my friend? I didn't write that shit. Or Lisa Barlow might be, but you got the text and you didn't tell me. You might have known Whitney was going to read this or something. You know what I mean? So I can kind of see some of the sides more than I could last night. Yeah, I could see that. But I was like, poor Sean, just out here, just circle jerking, you know, it's like, God, how many, not only is Sean gay, but they're saying he's a slut. He's a slutty gay, you know, just everybody get in a circle. Let's jerk, you know, which is such a cute name. Circle jerk is really a cute name for that activity, I feel like, as is handy. But Lisa is no saint, and she has talked about people and their marriages and their sexual activity as she did to Meredith. And then Meredith's like, none of this is okay. And then Lisa's like, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. And they're like, and Whitney's like, if we can all stay and take it, what makes you two different that you get to walk away? And Meredith's like, I'm leaving. I'm done with this. They're like, don't walk away. And it's too late. So now Angie's gone because she had to be muzzled. Shout out to Angie K, because she was ready. She just was nipples out, ready to fight Bad Girls Club style. She was like, where's her mattress? I'm throwing it in the pool. She was done. Where's her Chipotle? You know, spitting on it or whatever they did in Bad Girls Club. And then Lisa walks away, Meredith walks away, and then we get like the end credits of what everyone's doing now. And they're just like, we had to sit through it all. Why can't they? And I'm like, yeah, why do they keep walking away? Stop walking away. Stay. But then someone clocked that the Real Housewives, when they were at this dinner, that it was like they were there till like 1:30 in the morning or something. They could see, I think it might have been Whitney's phone in one of the screenshots. And it was like 1:39 a.m. Like these girls are putting in work to bring out the entertainment. Now let's talk about the scene of all scenes, which I did not expect to feel so many emotions during that finale, but Mary Cosby being mad at Angie because Angie earlier in the day at the Lisa's lunch, the 8 Lisa's lunch, Angie K ran after Brittany when she was being a victim of her own crimes. And then Mary's like, I don't trust her. And you see the longer version in the Peacock episode where Mary, while they're at the horseback riding, they then go put their feet in the ocean. And she tells the ladies on the horseback riding portion of the trip, she says, I think I'm done with Angie K. And they're like, what? Why? She's like, because she ran after Angie. Why would she go after Angie? She's supposed to be my friend after Angie is claiming that I record people too. And they're like, oh my God. So in the episode that we saw, on Bravo, it was just Mary out of nowhere, kind of, you knew she was upset with Angie K. Like, why would she do that? Why would Angie? She said that at the table when Meredith and Whitney were the only two with her who didn't run after Brittany as she cried for the 8,000th time, you know? And Mary's like, why'd Angie go over there? Why'd Angie? And as Mary's bringing it up at the table, I'm thinking, oh, Mary, don't do this. Don't do this. Angie K loves you. What's going on? But then Mary starts to open up and she is really pouring her heart out this season like we've never seen before. And they have this scene between the two of them where, you know, Angie's like, Mary, do you want some of my pepperoni? And Mary's like, Mary, don't you want some of my pepperoni? Mary's like, Mary, what's going on? Are you mad at me? Mary, talk to me. And everyone's just like, and she's like, I'm kind of done with you. I don't trust you. She's like, what? You went after Brittany, and I've opened up to you and told you everything and been your friend, and you went after her. And Angie's just like, no. And Angie could have so easily been like, it could have been typical housewives move, like, fudge you. I've been such a good friend to you. Screw you. She could have got defensive, but instead Angie sat there and she heard Mary out, which is it's crazy, but that's like the adult thing to do in a friendship you really care about, if there's a misunderstanding or your friend is hurt, to sit there and listen, hear them out, and see if this is something that can be resolved. Because if it's worth it, you'll want to work it out. So she didn't let her ego get in the way. She didn't get defensive. I don't know if I would be that mature in that situation. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, I'm your friend, you know? But she was so sweet. And she was like, Mary, I love you. And Mary's like, I don't know. She's like, Mary, you changed my life, our friendship. And she's like crying. And I'm like, why am I getting I'm still even saying it. I'm getting the goose pimples. I'm getting the goosebumps. And then Mary's like, Mary, I see you differently than everyone else does. And then Mary opens up and says, I'm sorry, I have abandonment issues. And the minute someone breaks my trust, and I think I open up to someone because I open up to so few people. And if I open up to you and I feel like you betray me, I'm done with you. She's like an Aquarius. She's like me. Once it's like, oh, okay, I'll always remember that. And I might even just ghost you, just never talk to you again, because we don't have to do this round and round, ring around the rosy mess anymore. But she sat there with it and listened to Mary, and we hear Mary talking about her family, and we know she has this not good relationship with her mom, and we know it goes back to the step granddaddy husband and the grandma leaving the church and all the mess. And then we find out that her dad left, and I didn't know this, you know. Like I said, we'll talk about it more on with Busy, who's in the chat on Sip and Key, but it was her dad left when she was 6, never came back. And basically her mom must have told her, or the dad told her, that he didn't like her. And that, I'll tell you, that kind of trauma on someone, I never thought I would have so much empathy for Mary, but here we are. That kind of trauma on someone, being told by the person, one of the people or both who gave you birth, those are the first people. Those are the people you came from, the people that we are just, it's ingrained in us that we want their acceptance, no matter how awful they are, you know, and we don't know that at 6 years old, you know, to get just denied like that, and to have one of your parents tell you that, is just, that's one of the worst things that can happen to a person. And some people never come back from that. That is trauma that just sits with you. And the fact that she was so little and she carried that with her, and that her own father looked at her and was like, I don't like you. And he left and never came back. That is the first moment and a defining factor in how you go forward in relationships for the rest of your life. So the fact that Mary opened up, I was like, get it, Mary. And then Angie she was like, I love you, you know, like, I'm your friend. Like, I want this friendship. She was almost fighting for this friendship when Mary was ready to throw it away. And then Mary's like, yeah, I mean, I have wanted to tell you I love you, but I don't want to be the first to tell you I love you. So Mary's very guarded. And Angie goes, no, I understand. I'm guarded too, because Angie lost her mom at such a young age. And she, this season, is talking and being open about the trauma that goes with having a parent who's an addict, who, you know, passes away due to that addiction, and the myriad of emotions you feel of sadness, anger, blame, and thinking like, did you choose that over me? You know, there's so many emotions. And so she has her own abandonment issues. And I'm just like, and then Angie's like, take my hand, Mary's like, take my hand, Mary. And then they hold hands. And then Angie says, I do love you, Mary. And Mary's like, I want to tell you I love you every time we hang up the phone, but I don't want to be the first. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like a real damn friendship. They have a real friendship. What I thought Heather and Whitney would be once upon a time is what they are. Care Bear, let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Mary said, or Care Bear says, Mary is an air sign. I think a Libra, so similar aspects. So because when she was talking about like, oh, you freaking do me dirty, like, we're done now. And that resonates with me so much. Like, there have been so many relationships and stuff, like, especially as I get older, that I'll just never talk to you again. Okay, you showed me who you are, what you're about, and we don't need to talk about this anymore. So you just pretend I never existed. I'll pretend you've never existed. And it might not be the healthiest way, but sometimes it is. Just to be like, no, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my time with a loser. Okay. Evelyn says attachment trauma. Yes. Yes. Care Bear says childhood trauma and Aquarius issues as well. Yes. Same. Total Aquarian energy. I was so quick to ghost you. There are so many people that are like, I don't know. I kind of know, but it's like, you know what you did to get to this point. It doesn't just take like the littlest thing. There's enough things where the case is built and okay, we're done now. The Peacock version, Evelyn said, was so long. I thought it was an extended episode. It was like an hour and a half. It was awesome. Love is medicine. It really is. And it was so great to see them both open up about how they love each other. And they do look at each other, differently. And then Meredith across the table, like, that was supposed to be me. But I don't think Meredith can ever be truly vulnerable enough to have a friendship like that. But Angie and Mary have a lot of, there's a lot of parallels between their experiences with parents and things. And then because when I first saw it and Angie K was saying, you changed my life. And I'm like, how did she change your life? But then the more again, sleep on the episode, sleep with the episode if you have to, and then watch the extended version. It's like, yeah, there are friendships. I can definitely think of multiple great friendships I have that have changed my life or changed me for the better. And I can think of relationships that have changed me for the worse, that you have to go, that's not good for me. But yeah. Then don't F with Mary's life. Evelyn says inner child work helps attachment wounds. Help mine at least. Yeah, I think that I see so much about inner child work. And I think everyone I've heard that has done inner child work has nothing but great things to say about it. Cammie says, and her dad said he didn't like Mary because she talked too much, which is a horrible thing, especially a thing to say to your daughter because she was opinionated. And let me tell you, if those words weren't said to me as a kid, not by my dad, but there were definitely family members that I was a little too opinionated. I was a little too, not Nana, not my immediate, but extended. I was a little too sassy, as they call little girls with an opinion. Well, what if I just am correct? What if it's just my opinion? But yeah, that was so bad. Red Wolf said, this was an awesome scene. I gained a new respect for Angie. That's why I really like Angie. I like her. Care Bear says, you could tell Angie K initially tried to connect with Mary last season and must have been Angie's intuition. Because Angie said right away, she's like, Mary, I've really worked to get to know you, to open up to you, to whatever. And Mary's like, I didn't ask for that. And I was like, oh shit, that is so cold. She is so guarded. Like, I didn't ask you to do that, bitch. Like, I didn't ask for that. But Angie stayed listening to Mary, stayed saying, no, you're important to me. So Busy Blue, thank you for this. Busy Blue said, Mary talking to Andrew reminded me of how I deal with my relationships. I have the same story with my dad, and I get really upset when I'm betrayed or tossed aside. I get nasty. I'm still working on it. I think there was so much like Busy about that conversation that was so relatable to so many people. So I love you. I don't think you get nasty. I think you hurt and you speak your hurt. And that's a good thing. And if people don't want to hear it, then they're not the people for you, Also, I barely communicate with people. Well, sometimes you do. Sometimes. Ryan said, it's so relatable when you have complicated relationships with your parents. Yes. Very relatable. Witnesses, I can barely communicate to anyone now. The people I trusted the most betrayed me. I'm so sorry, Witness. See, and that it will take a toll on you. It will take a toll on you. So Evelyn said, so right. Meredith and Lisa do not seem able to be vulnerable. Not very comfortable with emotions. Small window of tolerance. That's why they walk away so much. They don't want to open up. They don't really want to tell you what's going on. They're so guarded about their relationships. John Barlow's perfect. Me and Soth are you though? Because perfect doesn't exist. And perfect married couples definitely don't take breaks and go have sex with other people. Or have the dynamics that you guys have. And that's okay. But just, you're on a show, like, be honest about it. We see it. We don't think it's perfect. But DGF says Mary chased after Meredith, but Meredith rejected Mary. And I think Mary sees that. She's like, oh no, she's too boring. And you just see that once Mary opened up to Angie K, the only one about Robert Jr. and the things going on, one of the darkest times in her life is this, addiction that Robert Jr. has. I think that was a game changer. That was like, oh, Mary really likes Angie K. because she didn't open up to anybody ever on the show. So that was a really, really big deal. So that it was such a crazy episode. And me and Busy are going to talk about it on Sip and Key and really break it down. So make sure you guys are subscribed. If one of my mods doesn't mind dropping the link to that channel. And Busy already did a little quick reaction himself. He was very upset with Lisa Barlow. I could not go live with him because I had to take the dogs to the dog park and other things. But he dropped a little bit of his feelings. If you guys want to go check that out and give it a like and give it a comment on Busy's reactions. He was very upset with Lisa Barlow. Very upset with Lisa Barlow. I'm like, I just think this cast is perfection right now. And I hope that everyone comes back. And I mean everyone, even Brittany as a friend of. I don't want her full time. But isn't it so strange that we have that one housewife? I don't even remember her name, who was supposed to be, I think, a main housewife. Or maybe a friend of. We heard like 2 words from her all season. Beach says Angie is kind of mothering Mary. Like the do you need help with your hair scene? She was gentle, but didn't let Mary gruff get in the way. It seems it's almost like a little big sistery because Mary's like, you taught me sisterhood. It's a little big sistery. And I think Angie growing up from such a young age with only her dad and a lot of siblings and without a mother figure, she's probably gotten used to being a big sister or a motherly figure. So that's a good observation, Beached. And I think that is soothing to someone like Mary and to someone like Angie who feels as though she likes, and Mary expresses this too, they're able to, give their kids kind of what they didn't have in mothers. And so it's kind of healing for Mary to get that sisterhood, that friendship, that strong connection with another woman, since her and her mother seem to be like competitive and strange, their relationship. And then with Angie, her not having her mother, but still being able to be there, I think that can be kind of healing too. If Angie's a Cancer, that does make a lot of sense. So yes, Trish says, please hit the like button. Hit it. Evelyn says, I completely forgot. Yeah, Mealy, whatever her name is. She didn't do anything. Casey says, I'm a few minutes behind, but hearing you say the 8 Lisa's party sounds very Feast of 8 Fishes and sounds very biblical. Well, this was probably the least biblical party. I mean, it was prolific in a way, like the Bible, I guess, but it was very biblical. Angie does. As rough and tough as she is, as much as she stands up and her tit falls out and she's ready to throw shit at you and fight, she's not that way. Do you know what I mean? There are some people that do that and you're like, ugh, that's an air. Like when Lisa Barlow and Whitney, it was cringe when they were like, she's like, don't point your finger at me. And Whitney's like, points both her fingers. Lisa slapped it away. It was almost like an SNL sketch. She's like, stop that. Get your finger out of my face. Get out of here. And then Whitney's like, here's both fingers. That was cringe. But the way that Angie K is that is, I think her defense mechanism is she's like that aggressive, like get up. But deep down, she's a softie. And I get that because I'm kind of, especially when I was younger, definitely similar to that. I mean, it's something you can tell Angie wants to check in herself, but she hasn't gotten a hold of. So she's still throwing flowers. And Lisa's like, those are flowers that I brought to the table. I didn't even buy those flowers. Or I did buy those flowers. They didn't just come with the table. Oh my God. But Lisa was like hiding. I don't want to know. No, you're talking about John Barlow. No. Oh my God. Don't look at me with the flowers. And Angie's like, fuck you. And her tits out. And it's just, she's like so raw and real. And I mean, granted, as an adult woman, you probably shouldn't be standing up and throwing things at people or looking like you're going to fight them. But I feel like there is that side, but then there's this super soft side to Angie. Like she is really sweet and really soft, but when she's pricked, oh my, she will lash out. She will lash out worse than a dagger for a tongue. Okay. So free those tots, girl. Free them. All right, you guys, we are at 2 hours. I will be back tonight for the live watch party of Traitors. So just in a couple hours here. But I'll be able to watch episode. Then I got to dip out because I have a comedy show after that. If you are in the Palm Springs area, check out my Instagram stories. And if you're interested in going to a comedy show, I will be at the Rock Gallery, I think it's called. It's like an art gallery. We're doing a comedy show over there. Me and some other displaced Los Angeles comedians. So that should be a good time. And then next Tuesday, I'll be doing a show in Joshua Tree, and that'll be a complete fundraiser for a family who was impacted by the California wildfires. So that I have the fundraiser show next Tuesday in Joshua Tree, and I will post about that show. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at Joleen Lunzer if you are in the area and want to come out and support. Next Tuesday, a fundraiser for California wildfire relief efforts. And then tonight at 9 p.m., I'll be at I think it's called the Rock Gallery. It's in my Instagram stories. Okay. Witness says, Joleen, can you come back to San Diego? San Diego? Yeah, I love San Diego. I got to come back. I got to plan where I'm going to go this next year. This next year is just really getting to April, my husband Chell's graduation, and then he's going to take his test, and then he'll be an RN full-fledged, and then we'll be cooking. So right now I'm just focused on like, let's get to April. He's in this last semester of school. Because of those of you who know, you know that my husband Chell did a whole turnaround in his career. And once the pandemic hit, he decided he wanted to get into the medical field. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I want to help people. And I'm like, okay. So then he started taking classes because he had a bachelor's degree, not in science and not in anything medical. So he had to, start doing science, statistics, those kind of classes. And then he got into an RN program. And so he's been on like a fast track RN program. It's just been crazy. And so we're really looking forward to him graduating and gets to start working. So I haven't planned any traveling because right now he's so busy because he's working and going to school full time. So I'm just, and luckily when I got displaced from my corporate job, well, I was already working from home for them for quite a few years, but then I can, be here and I keep rescuing animals. So I, got to be here for the animals. So I haven't really planned anything, but I will try. I will try to get something in San Diego because it's close and it's fun. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, Jay Eats, Angie and Mary for the win. Right? I mean, I'm like, my husband is awesome. I know Lisa talks about John Barlow, but like literally my husband saw people struggling in the world and was like, I want to get a new profession. I want to help. I'm like, you're so much of a better person than me because I'm thinking I want to stay so far away from medical hospitals. Like I'm terrified. He's like, no, I want to help people. And he's the perfect person to do it. He's the personality, the temperament. He's sweet. He cares. He's empathetic. Like all the things you would want in a good nurse is what my husband is. So shout out to him. I got to come to St. Louis too, Lucy. Got to see you. Got to see Care Bear. I got so many good people in St. Louis. So that's where we're at, you guys. Smash that like, comment after the video post. Shout out to all my super chatters today. Chicken Head, thank you so much. And Brandy, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing this now. Just wanted to say hi. I'm late, but here, and I love that you spelled butt like B-U-T-T, like an actual butt. Pamela B, thank you so much. And Busy Blue, thank you. You guys are amazing, wonderful, beautiful. Pumpkin spice babies. Comment, like, follow me on social media. I'll see you soon for the Traders Watch Party. Always remember to enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you see.